Wednesday on an all-new Dr. Phil. It's son-in-law
David is controlling. He wants me to be submissive when I am in his home.
versus mother-in-law.
She is neurotic.
You two have decided that she has a personality disorder.
We said, you cannot come see the grandchildren.
Your mother has not been able to see the baby.
He is manipulating her.
If you're at peace having a child, your mother has not even met the person that needs to be diagnosed as you. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, Susan has emailed me 16 times in just the last few months telling me she's at war with her son-in-law, David. Now, they didn't invent that. She says David detests her and he knows just how to punish her. Susan is not allowed to see her grandchildren unless there's a family function. Now, she was banned from the hospital during the birth of her youngest grandchild, who she has yet to meet. But Susan's daughter, Becca, says her mother knows good and well it was her sinful behavior that got her removed from their lives. Now, Becca claims her mother is unstable and even fired a gun in her own home. Now, Becca and David have gone as far as diagnosing Susan with a personality disorder and have given her an ultimatum: go to a psychologist and get treated, or never see her grandchildren again. But Susan says the real problem is that David is controlling and that he's a bully and has brainwashed her daughter. Take a look.
The day Becca was born was the happiest day of my life, and I tell her that all the time. We were best friends through her 20s. Not long after that is when she met Dave. He was tall, dark, and handsome. He was a Christian. I thought, this is perfect. After they got married, it seemed like he really wanted her all to himself. There was really no room for me. Once the kids came along, Dave became extremely controlling.
Lincoln said stop.
David is ex-military, and he likes things done exactly the way he says. David's t-shirts have to be folded a certain way. His jeans have to be on a certain weight of hanger. If I come over with my gym bag and set it up on the cabinet, he grabs it and he puts it someplace else. The first time we ever had a blow up was when I was trying to do the laundry. He just put his finger right to my nose and said, "This is my house." I'd lost it. I had said to Becca, "You're going to have to choose between he and I." I got in my car and I sped off.
Hey, quit biting me.
4 months ago, I noticed a bruise on one of the twins' wrists. I said, what could have caused that? Was he alone with Dave? Oh boy, she was furious. She yelled at me. She was very upset because I implied that Dave was responsible for the bruise. After that incident, I thought Rebecca would call me and say, we got to deal with this. Instead, I got a text saying, we've decided you can't come to our house ever again, and you can only see the kids at family functions. I've apologized, but they haven't let me see my grandkids since that day.
Okay, Susan, I'm glad you're here. Are you a danger to your grandchildren?
I am not.
Are you a threat to them because you are psychologically unstable?
Well, that's why I'm here to find out.
What do you think?
I do not think I am a threat to those children in any way.
But your daughter and son-in-law think you are?
They think I am.
They think you're unstable to the point that they think you might do what? Do they think you're going to kidnap them, harm them, say things to them you shouldn't say?
They think that I am sinful, and if the children are going to see sinful behavior from me, and that they maybe will start acting that way, I guess.
And sinful in what way?
I can't think of anything I do not feel like I've been inappropriate with those children ever.
They've diagnosed you with a personality disorder, right?
That's what they say.
Are they qualified to do that?
No, I do not think so. They cannot diagnose me. I'm a nurse. I can't diagnose anybody. It's out of my scope of practice.
Right. Well, Susan's daughter, Becca, says that her husband, David, is the best thing that has ever happened to her. And for her mother to not like her favorite person is just horrible. She said, why would she be that way? Becca says her mom brings drama and negativity into her family's life and that it just needs to stop. Take a look.
My mom was not happy with my relationship with my husband from the beginning. When I first brought Dave to meet my mom, she called him Matt because she wanted me to be dating a guy named Matt. So that whole first evening was totally rude and inappropriate. My mom still belittles my husband. She badmouths my husband in front of our kids when I'm there. So what is she saying when I'm not there? For my mom not to like my favorite person is awful.
I'm watching you.
She thinks he's controlling and strict.
Do you understand?
But my mom likes to take control, and I used to just let her have it. And then I saw how it was affecting my marriage, and I had to put my foot down. If Dave thinks that my mom is overstepping her bounds, he'll tell her to butt out. She gets upset, storms off. She doesn't want to talk about the problem. My mom thinks that Dave's tone is harsh, but I think she's just being oversensitive. My mom and Dave had a blow up. A couple days later, my mom is implying that my husband is abusing my child. At that point, we decided that we were going to keep our kids away from my mom. She was not allowed to come to our house. My mom did not handle that well. I got a barrage of hateful messages trying to make me feel guilty. Not talking to my mom is very weird, but she needs help before we can repair that relationship.
Okay, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you two have seen each other?
Several months.
Wow, you
4
sure
months,
look
maybe?
alike.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 months?
Yeah.
Have you spoken during that time?
Just on social media.
At this point, she is banned from the grandchildren. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you've just had a new child.
Yes.
How long ago?
2 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And she's not been able to see the baby or meet the baby.
Right.
What is it about her that has become such a risk that she hasn't even been able to see your newest child?
Well, a lot of it is the negativity and the lack of self-control, the anger.
I kind of made a list of the questionable behaviors, according to you, that have really kind of rubbed you wrong. And some of these go way back, and some of them are pretty current. Like you said, she called David Matt because she wanted you to date somebody named Matt.
Right.
I said one time, "You're not Matt." I was teasing.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
That's funny.
I know. I shouldn't have said it, but I did.
It got to the point where she just threw down the hoe handle and said, "It's him or me.
Yeah.
You pick him or you pick me."
Right. And he's my
I know
husband.
that's wrong,
Yeah.
and I know what you're going to say.
No, you don't.
Well, I watched your show where you told a young woman, when you said "I do," you made your choice,
Yeah.
and I agree.
You know you shouldn't have said that.
I should not have
Because
said
you're going
it.
to lose every time.
Yeah.
If you raised her right, you're going to lose every time. And you were concerned that she fired a weapon in her home.
Absolutely.
Fired a gun in her home. You were in the closet?
Yeah.
Were you upset?
Yes, I was.
Crying?
Yeah.
And you fired a gun?
I didn't fire it. It went off.
I hate it when they do that.
I know, right?
I hate it when those guns
I
just
know, it
jump
just goes
up and
off by
go off. Susan fired a gun in her home recently. Becca says there's no reason why her mother should have a rifle. She doesn't even hunt.
I agree with that.
Take a look.
My husband and I got into an argument. I was angry. I went into my closet and sat in my chair. I don't know why, but I just reached over and grabbed it. I had it on my lap like this. I was just kind of messing with it. And before I knew it, when I did that, the gun went off and I was shocked. The bullet hit my dresser, ricocheted off, hit the bathroom floor. The bullet lodged in the baseboard underneath the bathroom sink. It's lodged right there.
I have no idea why she was in the closet in the first place.
I was stunned, and I just sat here, and the room was full of gun smoke.
But her saying that she was crying and holding the firearm led me to believe that she was going to commit suicide.
I was not suicidal. I was not homicidal. It was a rifle. It wasn't a gun to shoot yourself with. It was a gun to shoot varmints with.
After this happened, Dave and I had to come up with excuses for why our kids couldn't go out there.
They're saying that that is the reason that I'm not allowed to see the kids. But I watched the kids for 3 months after that. It wasn't until the hand bruise incident that the kids were taken away from me.
Okay, that does hit my radar, that you're in a closet with a loaded gun and it goes off.
You hit my radar, too.
What really went on? You said
My
you just
husband
sit there.
took my car.
Why did you pick the gun up?
I was upset. I really don't know why. I guess I thought, he never listens to me. If I took that gun out and set it on his dresser and he came home and saw it, he'd say, oh, maybe I need to listen to her. I wasn't thinking very clearly, but he hasn't taken my car since it happened.
Well, okay. Coming up, Becca's husband says marriage is between one man and one woman, and he says he is not married to Becca's mom. He's going to join us next. We'll hear what he has to say. We'll be right back.
Susan thinks that she has a say in our marriage, and she does not. Her nose is always in our business. She's always up in Becca's life. I'm done with it. I'm tired of the drama.
And later, do you think that she would let someone mentally or emotionally abuse her?
Yes, and I know he is manipulating her.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. She went from school counselor
I do not want to talk about the damn medication.
to living in an RV.
She's destroyed that.
Totally.
Her family says she's become
I am speaking.
a different person.
You fell in the ditch?
She fell in the ditch.
She pushed me because I had custody of her son. He was a part of my family.
My son has never been a part of your family.
That's tomorrow.
During my recent pregnancy, I had to stop responding to my mom because of the stress that it was causing me and the rest of my family.
Becca initially said that we could go to the hospital, but she changed her mind.
I told my mom a month before I was going to be having my baby that she was not to come to the hospital. When I go in to have the baby, a nurse says, well, your mom's here. And I said, well, we asked her not to come.
Even though she said she didn't want me to come to the hospital, she texted me and told me it was time. And I just took that as, okay, maybe she does want me there. I'm her mom.
Then I got called back to the OR to get prepped for my spinal. In comes my doctor wanting to know what I want to do about the situation.
The charge nurse came in and said, you have to leave. We just want to look at the baby through the glass. She said, no, they do not want you here. And I said, was that David saying that or was it Rebecca? She said it was Rebecca. And so we left. If that was Rebecca, then fine.
Well, Becca's mother, Susan, emailed really desperate for help 16 times, actually. She hasn't been allowed to see her grandchildren in months, and she blames her son-in-law, David. Susan says he hates her, but Becca says it's her own mother's negative behavior that's to blame here. David says Susan has a personality disorder and needs to butt out of his marriage. Take a look.
My mother-in-law is neurotic, insecure, and detached. Susan and I have a broken relationship. She shows no interest in repairing it. All she seems to be concerned about is seeing her grandchildren. After I married Becca, it became obvious to me that Susan's best friend was her daughter, my wife. I was getting in the way of that. Susan has been training everyone in her family to enable her bad behavior. If anyone goes against Susan's wishes, Susan's wrath is unleashed upon them. I'm done with it. I'm tired of the drama. Her nose is always in our business. She's always up in Becca's life. When Susan comes into our home, she'll rearrange the cabinets. Susan thinks that she has a say in our marriage, and she does not. It's not her marriage. You cannot speak to her about anything without her blowing up about it. I've never been argumentative with Susan. I've stated what I needed to get across in a very clear manner, but I've never been met with the same level of respect. Everything is extreme. Everything is full tilt boogie. Every time there's been a blow up, it's just the start of a vicious cycle. Everything gets swept under the rug and nothing is being fixed. When Susan implied that I may have been abusive to my son, that infuriated me. I am not going to take those kind of accusations from anyone. It doesn't matter if it's my wife's mother or not.
Okay, David, I'm glad you're here. You've been listening so far.
Yes, sir, I have.
Are you upset with her and withholding the grandkids from her because you're mad that she accused you of being abusive with your son, or because you really think she's a risk to your children?
Those kids are my responsibility to raise properly so that they can learn how they should go and be in the world. And I can't have people who exhibit poor behavior around my children.
And the poor behavior that you refer to that's just offensive to your sensibilities and unacceptable to your standards would be what?
Reacting with anger when someone goes against your wishes, or ignoring one's position in the household, as my position as the father.
And you two have decided that she has a personality disorder?
Yes, I have.
And I've got 5 pages of characteristics of...
That's a partial list, by the way.
Anger and baiting and circular conversations, disassociation, emotional blackmail, favoritism and scapegoating, harassment, identity disturbance, lack of consciousness, manipulation, mood swings, raging violence, and impulsive aggression.
Just take me away now.
Sabotage, self-victimization, sense of entitlement, threat. I mean, it just goes on and on. I got pages and pages and pages here.
We did do a lot of research. Of course, Google's always there. And I just typed in, what is it when someone blames someone else for the things that they're actually always doing?
Well, if it's on Google...
I understand. And I've said I'm no psychologist.
You are not. And the reason that I bring this up, and if y'all are really interested in information, is there's a tendency for those who mix psychology and religion, who know just enough to be dangerous, to use psychology as a weapon to judge. You guys decided that she was a histrionic personality, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we didn't say that was set in stone. It was just, this is what we've read about.
Well, no, but you submitted about 14 pages of support for that diagnosis. And I can tell you that wouldn't even be on my short list if I was diagnosing her, but I'm not, because I'm not qualified to diagnose her. I haven't done the proper work, nor have you. That doesn't mean she doesn't have flaws of character. Certainly, it just seems awfully judgmental. I don't know, but I mean, I don't like her shooting off a gun in her closet. I don't need a label for that. That seems like you don't need to go to psychology school to know that's not good, right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
But didn't you shoot off a gun in the house?
Yes, sir.
Didn't you blow a hole in the front door?
Yes, sir.
And he tried to hide it.
And didn't you say it was a peephole for like short people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So
that's right.
It happens, right?
Yes, but there's a difference in this. Mine truly was an accidental discharge, but I wasn't.
He's a gun expert.
But I wasn't.
You were a gun expert.
I hadn't forgotten to take meds for 2 days, and I wasn't sitting.
But you knew your gun was loaded.
Emotionally distraught in a closet.
You were pretending to be Dirty Harry, shooting people at the door.
trying to get my way
Turned
about
into Barney Five.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't trick or treating at your house that
Yes,
night or
sir.
something.
I'm glad someone else wasn't too.
Yeah, I mean, because that could be terrible.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Let's take a break here because I have a plan. I really do. Coming up, Susan says this is the third time David has taken the grandkids from her. There are two sides to this argument, and both sides have very legitimate points. The question is there some resolution about all of this? We're going to keep talking about it. Come back.
Out in public, David is a phony. He hugs me, he pretends that we are happy, and then we're at home, he can't stand me.
I love Susan very much.
I don't believe him.
And later, if you're at peace having a 2-month-old child and your mother has not even met that child, the person that needs to be diagnosed is you.
I hope that Becca could learn better ways to parent without using wooden spoons and screaming and yelling. I've seen them jerk the kids around by their wrists. I've seen them whip them. I know she is overwhelmed.
Hold on, Daddy's going to get it for us.
With 4 children. I think there's a better way to parent. I don't think the kids respect Rebecca because David doesn't respect Rebecca.
Well, Susan says her son-in-law, David, is a controlling and manipulative bully, but she says she can see through his passive-aggressive behavior, and she fights back. Now, Susan says David just doesn't like it when women stand up to him. Take a look at her point of view.
David is a bully.
Anybody who calls it like it is to Susan bullies her.
He is fake, controlling, manipulative, and he is very good at it. I am afraid Dr. Phil's not going to see through him, and they're going to be buddies, and I'm going to be in a loony bin somewhere. Out in public, David is a phony. He hugs me, he pretends that we are happy, he's got this big smile on his face, and then we're at home, he can't stand me.
I love Susan very much.
Wow. I don't believe him. David is so controlling, she cannot change anything in that house without permission. She is not allowed to move the couch or even rearrange the kitchen cabinets.
Susan calls me a bully and says that I control my wife. But my wife is free to make up her own mind.
The David you saw on tape is not the real David. Dave has made Becca his puppet, and he is the puppeteer. He is raising a family of little puppets, and is definitely the kingdom of David.
If everything you just said is true, let's say that David is strong-willed. Let's say he has an idea how he wants things to be. What business is that of yours?
It's not.
So why do you keep expressing an opinion? Do you think that you did such a poor job of raising her that she would let someone mentally or emotionally abuse her?
Yes, she's brainwashed. She is brainwashed.
So you think you did not raise her to be able to withstand?
I thought I did.
Because I've spoken with her, and I'm a pretty good judge of these things, and I have a sneaking suspicion that she's one of those old gals that will bend but not break, and I have a sneaking suspicion that you push her far enough, she's going to say enough's enough. She seems very self-possessed and very intelligent. If I were you, I'd be very proud of the young woman that I've raised here. But you don't seem to have confidence in her ability
I've just seen
to stand
him
up for herself.
Manipulate so many people. And I know he is manipulating her.
So you don't have confidence in her?
I am afraid for her, yes.
It seems to me that you are having a problem with boundaries.
Well, she invites me over.
Well, not for the last 3 months.
No, and I stayed away.
Come on, because you've said, look, I have gone in and reorganized some stuff. I've gone in and kind of tried to do things my way.
I'm just trying to clean. I do a lot of cleaning for them.
Clean your house.
I do clean my house. She needs a lot of help.
Well, go back and clean it again. If she wants your help, she can ask for it.
I was just trying to help them because she had so many children.
Okay, but helping somebody means doing what they want you to do, not giving them what you want them to have. That's not a gift. Giving somebody what you want them to have is not a gift. And look, I probably should recuse myself because I'm a grandparent, and I think it is absolutely terrible for grandchildren to not be around their grandparents. I think extended family is so important for children, and I do not think this woman is mentally deranged. I don't think she's mentally ill. I don't think she is a sinful woman, as you're saying. I think she has a problem with boundaries.
This incident was the first time we said, you cannot come see the grandchildren.
This is the third time.
In the past, when there's been a blow up, she has said that we're keeping the grandchildren from her, and we've said we're not, but we want to stress that we want you to come and talk about this and resolve the situation.
No.
And she has refused to come to resolve the situation, but simply said, you're wrong for keeping the grandchildren from us.
Wow.
Well, no, but she has apologized, right? I mean, you took her
so many
to the
times.
elders of the church and had her
Yes.
apologize.
That's
Well-
not true either.
We did not say that she had to do that.
Correct. That
She
was the only
chose
way
to
out.
go ahead and do that. We wanted to talk, and she needed. We all wanted someone to be mediating for us.
It actually escalated to that. We wanted her to come to talk to us, just solve at the lowest level, because I believe in solving at the lowest level.
Instead of on national
But
television.
right, we didn't really want to be here on the show. I mean,
Airing
we
our
wanted to
business.
Well, you
solve
wanted me
this
to
on
be
a lower level.
psychiatrically, evaluated.
We have psychologists in
I want the
Missouri.
best one.
Well, here we are.
There you go.
David and Becca won't allow Susan to see her grandchildren because of unchristian behavior. Susan says she doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke or party, so what unchristian behavior do they mean? They have an answer for that. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Susan doesn't draw anyone to Christ-like behavior because she doesn't exhibit it.
He said before he wanted to save my soul, and I've told him, you are not my savior. It's my soul.
Susan is desperate to see her 4 grandchildren. She said her son-in-law David and daughter Becca have cut her out because of her sinful behavior. Now, David says it's most important to him that Susan's soul passes through Judgment Day, but Susan says she doesn't need David to save her.
My husband and I try to live our lives according to the Bible, but my mom's actions are not Christian.
They don't think I'm Christian enough, but I worship 3 times a week.
My wife and I raise our kids to walk in the way that Christ showed us to walk. And even though Susan professes to walk in that way, it's obvious to us that she does not.
They say I have sinful, inappropriate behavior. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't gamble.
My mom has gossiped about other people in front of me, lied in front of me.
Susan doesn't draw anyone to Christ-like behavior because she doesn't exhibit it.
He said before he wanted to save my soul, and I've told him, you are not my savior. It's my soul, and it's my responsibility.
The Bible specifically states to put away anger and wrath, to grow and become more Christ-like.
Now, the Bible says there is only one lawgiver, and it also says, he that is without sin cast the first stone.
Wow.
We never said that we were perfect. And we just said that, the negative behavior and stuff, we don't want our kids to think that being negative constantly is okay.
Constantly? I am not negative constantly.
Just very often.
Just when I'm with you guys.
Well,
Maybe you draw out the negativity in me. Sorry. If I pronounce a word wrong, they laugh at me and tell me how it is correctly pronounced.
that is what we...
It's so
our
funny to
family
them.
joke.
It's not. I am your family joke, and it's not funny to me.
We do the same thing between me and
Good.
him,
Do it
and
to
that's-
yourselves, not to me. Okay? Because I don't like it.
Well, if you don't like something, then you need to just say it.
Let me tell you, Do you two have a right to run your family the way you want to and set your standards the way you want to? Of course you do. And I believe in Deuteronomy 5:16, which says, honor your mother and father. And it says, honor your mother and father as the Lord your God has commanded you, that your days may be long and that it may be well with you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. And she is your mother, and you need to honor her. And let's define what honor means. Does that mean endorse every word she says or every behavior she emits? It does not.
No.
But it means that in your spirit, you're looking for a way to lift her up. You're looking for a way to come together with her instead of looking for a way to find fault, looking for a way to exclude. And does that mean that you're going to like everything she does or endorse everything she does? Of course not. And you've already heard me tell her she needs to respect boundaries.
I agree with what you're saying completely. And I do love Susan, and I want her soul to be well with the Lord.
How do you know it's not?
If someone,
Who told you?
Don't argue, let him finish. Don't argue with what he's saying, let him finish.
There's two definitions to judge. One is to condemn, and the other is to discern. And we're told to discern and judge righteous judgment, so that I know that if my brother is in a fault, I can see it, and I can go to him and say, hey, I want to help you out because you've got this problem and you need help with it. But the issue that I've had most with you is that any time I've tried to come to you and say, I can't have this in my home because it's not correct, you won't listen and you shut us down and leave.
If you're at peace excluding your mother, the person that needs to be diagnosed is you.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, from school counselor to living in an RV.
She's destroyed that.
Her son was a part of my
son has never been a part of your family.
That's tomorrow.
I was about 6 years old when my mom married my stepdad. At that point, things started to get crazy. Mom and Dad always seemed to be fighting and screaming and throwing dishes. We never had any dishes that matched because they were always breaking them. One thing I remember was my mom kicking my dad in the face. She just had these anger issues. Looking back at their relationship, I don't think they were ever happy.
What I'm trying to say here is you can be a right fighter or you can look for a solution. And you got to ask yourself.
That's what I want as a solution.
You can ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And you cannot be happy at this point. If you're at peace excluding your mother from your life,
not.
if you're at peace having a 2-month-old child and your mother has not even met that child,
No, because I know she loves...
Then let me tell you, the person that needs to be diagnosed is you.
Agree. We prefer it wasn't this way.
And if you're saying that she's such a threat that she can't even be at the hospital to look through a window at the baby, let me tell you, that's punitive, not precautionary.
Nobody wants to tell their mom not to come to the hospital, but the constant negative messages were just driving me crazy.
Well, here's something you didn't find on Google. And that is when you're talking to somebody and you're telling them what's wrong with them, you can tell them one thing and their defensiveness will come up a little bit. You can tell them 2 things and it'll come up a little bit. But you get above 2 and it just goes straight up to here. And that's where you are right now, because what she hears you say, well, I've got a list here of 7 pages of...
And she asked what it was.
You certainly told her.
I mean, yeah.
And when I'm telling you, when you take this approach, You're going to get people
We
shut
knew
down.
that wasn't going to make, that it wasn't going to do anything good.
The first step to reasoning is being able to listen to the other side.
Yes.
But if I can't express myself and she won't listen to me, then I have to figure out what my next step is.
Yeah, well, I have a suggestion right after the break. You're going to be in the Los Angeles area and want to watch a live taping of the Dr. Phil Show? Call 323-461-PHIL or visit drphil.com. Tickets are free, and I hope to see you soon. I think what needs to happen here is we need to hit a reset button and say, what's our goal and what's our objective here? I started out by saying I embrace two things real strongly. One is unification of family. I don't ever want to break families apart. Robin and I are national spokespersons for CASA, which works in the foster care system. It's a horribly broken system. I'd rather keep a child always with their biological family than spin them off into foster care because it's just terrible. So I always try to keep families together. And I think it's important for children to have extended family members in their lives because they learn somebody besides mom and dad love me. I can expand my world and go out. And I've said there do need to be boundaries here, and you've violated those boundaries. It's just your nature. You're kind of pushy. Let's assume, for argument's sake, that he's a bad guy. This is just argument's sake. Sure. I'm not saying you're a bad guy. No. If that's the case, wouldn't you want to be inside the tent?
Yes.
Well, you've acted to exclude yourself from the tent. So tell me how that's smart.
I guess it's not.
Guess it's not. I'll give you a minute to think it through. Is that smart? Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
I want to be happy.
Okay, then listen to what I'm telling you. You need to take a step back. You need to stand down and quit being so quick. You don't even let him finish the sentence because you're so mad at him.
He's hurt me.
What would make you happier, getting even with him or having those grandchildren climbing on you like a jungle gym?
Seeing those babies.
Would that make you happy? Would it make you happier than straightening him out?
Yes.
You are not an unstable person. You don't have a personality disorder. Okay. Could you benefit from counseling? Of course. Anybody can benefit from someone that can say, hey, let's take a look at your life and see if we can put a sharper point on things. That'd be great. If you want to do it, it's fine. I'll help you do that. But I'm telling you, take a deep breath and work within the system. You have so much to be thankful for here. So much to be thankful for. Look for the blessings instead of the things that you're worried about. Work within the system. You know, she might like to talk to you about some things, but you're outside the tent and you've put yourself there. What's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
I'm saying to you guys, there's too much judgment going on around here, and you may think you're awfully self-righteous and sanctimonious at this point, but let me tell you, that doesn't serve you well. If you really want to be Christian, then you look for a way to have love and inclusion and unity in your family at every level. I don't know about you, but my God is a loving God and a forgiving God and a nurturing God, and one that finds a way to make things work. Does that mean that you're blind to things? No, you do things in a stepwise fashion. This woman is not a threat, in my opinion.
It's not like I'm trying to just say she's the most awful person in the world, because I do not think that. I love my mom, and those kids love her and miss her.
You have your new grandbaby here today, right? Mm-hmm.
Sure do.
And I would very much like for you guys to all go back to the green room and introduce this baby to your mother. Will you do that?
I go, yeah.
We can do that.
Will you do that? You're there. There's no reason not to do it. You're there. I mean, that's what I mean about taking steps. You're there.
Yeah, you know, this is a step, and we that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
Was to start repairing this relationship.
Do this in a stepwise fashion. I've been in this profession for 45 years. This is a good-hearted woman. She's your mother. You know that. Does it mean she always says the right thing at the right time? No. But I have a granddaughter that's 7 and a grandson that just turned 6, Avery in London. And I guarantee you I would let her babysit my grandchildren tonight. Without question. I would. And take this a step at a time with an eye towards bringing this back together, and allow me to get you a family counselor that will set up a stepwise fashion to bring this family back together. I'll get you a good, solid Christian counselor that will do this in a very organized and stepwise fashion. Would you do that? Can we do that?
Yes,
And
thank
we
you.
and you go back and let her meet that precious child and give her a big hug for me, okay?
Thanks.
Fair enough? All right, I want to thank all of my guests today. We'll see you next time.
Here it comes.
I am happy. Dr. Phil was very fair. I'm happy to see these babies. I think the things that he said were right on. I do need to back off a little bit, and it's gonna be hard.
Hi, I'm Grandma.
I'll do anything to see these little angels. Oh, she's beautiful.